Hello, we're back on the Pointe Du Hoc here at Diagonal Move, and this time the Rangers are all on the land. They've managed to cross the cliff at the Pointe Du Hoc. We have taken the entirety of June 6th to do that. We're now well into June the 7th, and in addition to that, the relief column is marching ever closer, just 4 spaces away from the end of the relief column track, which would of course signify the end of the game, assuming we haven't hit halfway through June 8th. So as it currently stands, it's more likely that we're going to end the game with the relief column than time running out. Having said that though, I haven't advanced the relief column when I could have been able to during the tidy up phase of the last turn on the turn before, because I wanted to give myself that bit more time to gain some points, having had such a disastrous start to the game in terms of getting over those cliffs. But at the end of this turn, I've got a feeling I will have to start moving that relief column forward, because time will go by quite quickly, I think. Okay, let's jump straight in, and we do need to get some guns. We found a few gun locations. Unfortunately, they had nothing much in them apart from booby traps and dummy guns. We did capture an officer, which was good, and we got some POWs from close combat. But overall, our points score at the moment, it won't be fully calculated until the end of the game, but at the moment our point score is looking pretty miserable. So let's just begin, and I will begin this time simply going from this side across, and I will play this unit first. This unit is Fox Company. We have the commander with us. Only got a strength 5 unit there. Option to use this activation to recover, or perhaps move on, try and take that unit out there, the machine gunner, which is on its reduced side. However, there is a bit of barbed wire there. You may not be able to see it very clearly on the screen, but there's a bit of barbed wire there, which makes it more difficult than I really like to get to that unit. Could be a bit risky doing that, and I would like to be a bit more well prepared to do that. However, if I was to move here and then stop, I wouldn't be able to consolidate and use the consolidation action to heal myself. Let's roll yellow and see what happens. Okay, we've rolled a clock face, which is a card, and that German counterattack track moves. We are on the 3rd counterattack now, and we move just the 2 spaces because we took the command bunker out earlier. But we're now well on our way towards that 3rd German counterattack, and we're no closer to what I was saying I'd like to do with this unit. Let's roll green and see what happens. Another card. Okay. 1 time. Okay, 3rd hour of June 7th. And that's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to risk rolling those 2 dice for the sake of getting towards that German unit. So let's consolidate there. I will boost that guy's health up by 2, meaning he will have 7 moving into the next turn. This guy next, move that over. He's not in his rally point, so we can't do that health action, but hopefully we could get across this minefield up this way and then consolidate. That's pretty clear of barbed wire, so we should have a clear run if the dice favour us. Yellow again. We have 2 advance points plus a variable hit. We're within 2 of various units. Let's have a quick look to see what the damage is. Okay, we are within 2 spaces of that grenadier, meaning we take half the hits. So the distance halved. So in this case, it's 1 hit, dropping him down to 6. He's shaken as well, which is not so good. We'll move forward those 2 spaces. We could stop there because he would act as support should this unit try to attack. But I think I would like to get a little bit further up towards that road and those guns. So let's roll green. And another clock. Okay, that's another card. And another hour on our time track. Okay, that's hour 4. Again, it's another risk with these 2 dice, and I don't want to take that risk unnecessarily. So I'll consolidate, bring this guy, the rally point up to that guy. Okay. Moving to this unit, strength 5, has some supplies with him, facing up against some grenadiers. Okay, I'll just roll green to start with, and I hope I just get 1 advance point, which is all I need to get into that space with that unit. And that's exactly what I've got. It's gone to plan for a change. Okay, we're in the same space. We do have 3 base dice for the strength 5 unit. You can tell by the number of men printed on the board. The Germans will have 2. Okay, so base dice for the Rangers is 3, for the Germans is 2. We, as the Rangers, we do have support. We have a 6 and a 6 there, both of which are adjacent, meaning that we get an extra die. The strength is higher than the strength of the unit in the space we're attacking. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. So 4 dice against 2. Hoping for 6s and 4s. Okay, that's an interesting result. We have 1 hit for the Rangers and a morale loss for the Germans. So the Rangers will inflict that hit, dropping that down to 1. But we lost in terms of morale as the Rangers. So we drop back a space and we take that rally point counter with us. We can never fall behind the rally point counters. Okay, now we can carry on our activation. Question is, do I want to? Yes, I think I do. Let's roll yellow. And we move 1 space forward and then draw a ranger token. Now the barracks there, it was prepared terrain before when there was a German unit in it, but now there is no German unit. It counts as clear, so we can move that unit through without interruption. And then we draw a token for the Rangers. Okay, open fire with easy company. That's all at the end there. We are on the 7th of June, so we have low ammo. The way the supplies negate the low ammo for an open fire like this is you simply flip over any unused supply token, and you get those back later, but we flipped it over, so we've negated that. What the low ammo would do is it would reduce by 1 the combat strength or the combat dice rolled by the Rangers of Easy Company. So open fire will allow us to shoot with everybody in Easy Company using open fire. Okay, so starting with this person here, and I'll just use the open fire chip to show who I'm using. We can shoot, and I will shoot 3 strength dice at that unit there, hoping to clear the way for this guy. In terms of die roll modifiers, we don't need to worry about most of them. We can see we're adjacent, and there's no need to worry about shaken or prepared terrain or anything. So we just roll straight 3 dice. And we have a 5, which is half a hit, and a pin. Okay, so that's perhaps not as good as I'd hoped, but we can now shoot with either of those 2 guys. But let's shoot with this one first, because we can keep that half a hit and apply it to the same unit, I believe. So let's roll 3 dice again on the same unit, exactly the same as before. We roll, and this time we have a hit, flipping the guy over to his reduced strength side. But that does mean we need to now shoot again at the same person, who starts with 3 but is shaken, so reduces 1, so that's just 2, reduces again because of the distance, just 1 die, and we've missed. Final chance then, let's use this chap here, 4 dice, he's a strength 7, so 4 dice against this one, reduced by 1 for the fact of the distance, and again because the unit is shaken, meaning 2 dice at that grenadier unit in the far corner, and just half a hit. Okay, so that was not the most productive open fire I've ever had with Easy Company. But back now to this unit. It would be quite a risk to get in there, I think. We'd only got the black and red die left. It would be quite a risk. Although, it might be worth taking because here we have guns and we would be able to provide a bit of support. But then we can provide support anyway because of the adjacency. Let's consolidate. I don't like the odds of getting in a fight again. Last unit for Fox Company then is going to be the guys there. Strength of 6, trying to get into that space. It is prep terrain because the soldier, the German soldier, is there with the gun emplacement terrain. I'm going to roll yellow. I have 1 activation point plus a ranger event. So let's keep the activation point and go for the new event. And this time we have open fire again, but it is Dog Company and the low ammo is not applicable today. In this case, it's only applicable to the 8th of June. So now Dog Company can fire. We only have 2 units in Dog Company. And what I think I will do is I'll use them both to shoot at this one, because then we can transfer strength points across and come back and not worry too much about those guns. Okay, so we have a 6 there, so that's 3 dice. There are no modifiers. Actually, the defender's in prep terrain, so yep, we lose a die. No hits. This guy firing 4 dice, losing 1 for the prep terrain again, and 1 hit and a pin. So let's hope that's its. Yep, that was its full strength side, even though it was weak, but it is pinned, which is something. Oops, excuse me. That counter there. Okay, that event is over. Back to this unit. We've got 1 point saved, activation point saved. So let's go and roll green, hoping for another activation point to get in there. And we've got exactly what we wanted. Fantastic. And our strength 6 unit is going in with the guns. And that strength 1 ranger unit, German unit. So we start with 3 dice for the 3 dice for the Rangers, followed by 1 die for the Germans. The defender is in prepared terrain, so we have an extra die for the Germans, and I believe we add a die for the Americans due to the support from the unit there. Rolled off. So that's 2 hits for the Americans, which will kill that unit. We'll keep the prisoners, and we won't worry about the remaining results on the dice. Now that does give us a couple of gun tokens to look at. Oh, and the first one is fake guns again. Wow, our intelligence is not so good. and the final one is intercepted orders. This is another Fortune of War that counts for victory points, and on the 7th of June we have 3 victory points per Fortune of War counter. We now have a total of 6 points for our Fortunes of War. Okay, that is the end of the activation. Actually it's not, because I can pull that counter up and consolidate there. Moving across to Dog Company. I want to get a couple of activation points so I can split and move down. So let's roll yellow. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to move down this turn. Let's roll red to see what happens. And we have stop and a card. So we stop activation. German counterattack moves 1 space because of the little instruction there to reduce the spaces if we've defeated the bunker, which we have. Okay, halfway down the track towards the next German counterattack. That unit stops its activation. This unit has the same challenge now, which I will do. I'll roll red again. This time much closer to what we want, with 1 activation point plus a ranger chit. Let's draw the ranger chit. And we have rangers forward, and we are moving forward. Dog Company. Okay, that leaves us with a bit of a decision to make, because what that chit allows you to do, it allows you to move 2 spaces forwards, 1 space if there's any kind of obstacle there. So we could potentially get that unit there for free. However, if we do that, we would then be some way off where we need to be to get those guns, unless we trust to luck with that unit in the next activation. But we would be much closer up here and closer to the possibility of a roadblock. I don't think we can really hang about. Let's go. Move there. Activation done, or event chit activation done, and let's roll. Let's see what happens and roll yellow. Got a card, 2 spaces on the time track. Okay, we're now on hour 6 of the 7th of June. Let's try the green. 1 activation point, which would get us into combat with that machine gun. That might be worth doing. Let's do that. So we have 4 dice, base dice for the Americans, just 2 for the machine gun. I don't think there's any modifiers. We don't have any as the attackers, that's for sure. The Germans not in prep terrain. Okay, let's roll. So we have 1 hit for the Americans, combined 1 hit, plus a morale loss. The Germans have half a hit, which does nothing, and then 2 misses. The morale loss is important though, because we get to push back that German, because we have won the encounter overall. So that machine gun flips to its weaker side, moves back to the next available space. We stay in there, and that's where I think we'll consolidate with that unit. Okay, that was quite a good activation there by Dog Company. Okay, moving on to Easy Company. Easy Company are in a challenging position because they have so many Germans in their sector. No matter what we do, we're going to come into some kind of combat here. We found those guns already. There's 1 gun just there, a couple of guns there, a couple of guns there. I think what I'd like to do Let's try for these guns here first. Those 2 units are very strong German units. These look a little bit weaker. Let's do that. So we'll activate this guy first. He is shaken, unfortunately, and only has a strength point of 5. Let's roll green. And we've got another card. 1 up the time track. Let's try yellow. And stop. That wasn't so good. Not so good at all. Okay. Let's try this unit. Aiming up this road here. We're not pinned. We do have the commander with us, so that's helpful. Let's roll. Let's roll yellow, see how we do. Activation done. This unit, 6 strength points, some fairly stiff resistance against this in the next German counter there, with probably some supporting modifiers as well. There, let's keep going. Let's just roll that. Trust to that yellow die again. Okay, 1 activation point plus a German chip. I'll save the activation point. Pull the chip for Germany, and we have concentrated fire against Dog Company. Concentrated fire, that lets us, basically the Germans in the same column, do a open fire attack at us. Okay, same as before, then just the reverse of what we did last time, but only in the same column though, although machine guns can do something slightly better. Let's start with the machine guns. Okay, the machine gun here will open fire. They do a sweeping fire, which means they attack the column adjacent to them. And this side as well. So we will roll 5 dice, reducing it by 2 for the distance. I don't believe we worry about the terrain so much. So I think we're down to 2 dice. We're pinned. And then up here, same thing. So again, I think we're down to 2 dice. And this time we're pinned again. Okay. That's interesting. And then finally, this one will do the same. It will just be the 1 die against the pinned unit there. 4 were pinned again. No additional effect though. Okay, that chip can go to one side. And back to this activation. We have 1 activation point saved. Let's roll green. Time card, or a card. It is a time card again. Now on hour 8 of the 2nd day. Do I risk something? No, let's risk red. Okay, so we have 2 activation points, but we do have another German chit. So that's 3 activation points we have. I think I might do a hasty fire, actually. Yeah, let's do a hasty fire. So I will move forward 1. That's 1 activation. The second activation will do a hasty fire, which means I'll roll 3 dice in that case. There's no reason to reduce the dice, so 5s and 6s in the hasty fire will place a token on it. One of these incoming fire tokens, that is. but we haven't got a 5 or a 6, which is a little bit of a waste. Don't like the odds of going 3 dice against 2 with the benefit that the German has of all this surrounding German support. So I'll do that again. Another hasty fire, 3 dice, hoping for 5s. We have a 5, so place one of these on the top and hope it's something good next time. But I will stop there. Okay, wow, final activation already. Okay, that guy is shaken, so I'll roll green. We have a time card, an event card, sorry, they are actually event cards, even though they often have time on them, but we have another German counterattack. 1 space again, because we have cleared the command bunker. And that's actually the end of the deck, so we need to reshuffle that. And I have just realised I didn't pull the German chip from the previous activation, so let's do that. We have an assault on Dog Company. Okay. German Grenadiers will move 2 spaces forward and conduct close combat if they can. Machine gun units will move 1 space forward if the space in front of them blocks line of sight. And this is in Dog Company zone, and there are no Grenadiers, so we don't need to worry about that. We won't move forward with the machine gun. No event. Okay, so we didn't miss much then by not doing that last time. But I still need to decide what to do with my final unit. I think I will risk yellow. Wish I hadn't actually. We've got a variable hit and 2 activation points. So the variable hit is going to take one hit strength point away from that unit, reducing it down to 6. There are quite a lot of counters to hunt through for the right strength number. That's reduced to 6. I will use one of those activation points to get rid of the shaken counter. Don't want that one there anymore. And then the final thing I'll do with the final activation point is I will move forwards. I do need to think now about whether or not I want to try and cross that terrain. There's barbed wire there, so it's going to be a 2 activation points to get across the barbed wire and to attack that grenadier space. Doing so would help the unit adjacent to it, so it would help this unit, but it is a bit of a risk because we have only those die left. The company commander is underneath there, meaning we could add a die to the attack, but we'd basically be rolling the same numbers otherwise. It is a bit risky. Why not? Let's do it. Doesn't matter anyway, we've stopped and to draw a card. And our relief column is moving forwards. Okay, right, that is the end of activation number 5. This time I will move that relief column forward. We're getting far too close to the end of the game for my liking in terms of running out of time. There is a negative point modifier if you run out of time before the relief column advances. So I will make the most of the fact that I did not use the battalion commander this turn, who's under there, and I will move the relief column forward, so we're now 2 spaces away from the end in terms of the relief column. Time increment goes up 1, meaning there are just 3 remaining daylight hours of turn 7, and then the night hours of turn 7, and then daylight again for turn 8. So we are, in terms of running out of time, we're about halfway through. In terms of the relief track, we're actually not far from the end. I guess it depends on how long I want to leave it before I call it. But anyway, I'll reset everything and see you again for turn 6.